H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.
Today we are going to discuss about Selenium installation. For this, we need to have some set of softwares, like we need Java, and then JDK, and then Eclipse and Selenium, the driver files. Now let me open the Selenium installation document. Yep. I hope everyone has installed Selenium IDE Firebug, right? And here I was talking about Selenium install Java. I hope everyone has downloaded this and installed this. Okay. So I hope everyone has installed this Java and JDK, and then I hope everyone has downloaded this Eclipse. Okay. So once you download this Eclipse, what you have to do here, go to the Eclipse software where you have downloaded. It's showing something else. 1 minute. First, unzip the Eclipse file. You would have get a zipped file, right? Just unzip and you will get a folder here. So first, unzip the downloaded Eclipse file. Okay, unzip the downloaded Eclipse file. Then you'll get a folder. In that folder, you can find something called eclipse.exe file. Okay. So once you unzip, you'll get a folder like this, Eclipse. I mean, here in my case, I have downloaded something called Indigo. Probably you might have downloaded Juno. But however, first unzip it. Once you unzip it, you can find a folder like this. Open this. Here I'm talking about this one, Eclipse. Okay, just double click on this. Okay. Once you double click on it, you will get a run. You will get a window like this. Click on run here. Yep. Please everyone follow these steps from your end. Okay. For those people who has downloaded the Eclipse, please follow this. And if anyone of you have, please post your questions once the topic is done. Okay. Of course, if you have any normal questions, you can ask. But if you want to ask any generic questions like what is this, what is that, if you want to have any specific question on this particular thing, maybe you can ask right away, because as of now we are installing this. So currently, if you have any questions on this, you can post. If you have any generic questions, please post at the end of the topic. Please follow this protocol, everyone. If everyone observe here, you will get a folder like this. Once you click on run, you will get an option like this. Here you can basically create a basically what is this option means. Select a workspace. It means where exactly you want to save your scripts, where exactly you want to save your Java project. Okay, in which folder you want to save your Java files or Eclipse programs. See here, you can browse through and you can select whatever the required. See, you can select whatever the required folder here. Okay. Go and select whatever say if you want to save your scripts in C drive or D drive, go and select the particular folder and save over there. Okay. Once you have selected this, as of now in this case, I am selecting this particular folder. Okay. Now click on OK. So here, then once you click on OK, basically it is going to open the Eclipse here. Shall I wait over here? Am I fast? I hope everyone is following this. I will wait over here, okay? These are the previous class files. Here I already have some set of I have some set of Java projects. For you, you may get altogether a brand new page. But the next step is download the Selenium WebDriver files from this website. Okay. I hope everyone has downloaded this Selenium WebDriver files too. Okay. So once you download, before that, okay, before we configuring Selenium WebDriver files, it is like here. This is like Eclipse, and here first of all we have opened Eclipse. Now for you here you may have a brand new some startup page. Okay. In my case, I already created some set of projects, and for you, you may be in a particular some kind of home screen. Okay. Now here, I want to create a project here. Everyone close up here. From here, it is a bit important. Okay. Here we want to create a new project, and here what in Eclipse, if you create a new project, generally that is a pure Java project. Okay, that is a pure Java project. Okay, whatever we create here in Eclipse, basically that is a pure Java project. So however, we will try to create a project here. Everyone observe here. Go to file menu. Everyone please closely observe this. Don't ask again how to create and all. Everyone please observe over here. Go to file menu, go to new, and here go to other. Everyone observe here. Go to file menu, new, other, and here search for Java like this. Just type Java. It is going to list out Java related things. Select Java project here. Okay. Let me list down the steps here. First step is in Eclipse, file menu, new, file menu, new, other. Click on the other and type Java, select Java project. Okay, select this Java project, click on next. Then here we have to give the name of the project. Basically, what is this project means? Whatever we are going to create as part of Selenium scripts, we are going to create as a part of project. Okay, it means, say we call this as a Excel file, right? This we call it as Excel file. So here we have been writing the this Excel sheets. We are creating some Excel sheets and we are writing the content over here. In a similar way, here in Eclipse, we are creating a project. Okay, it's a Java project where we are going to create our Java programs. Okay, so give the name of the project here. Give some name here. Let me say B8 Selenium. Okay, I'm saying B8 Selenium. Okay, I'm giving the project name B8 Selenium here, and then click on finish. Okay. So this is how to create a new project in Eclipse, and moreover it is a pure Java project. Here whatever the project that we have created here, this B8 Selenium, everyone observe, this is a pure Java project. It means here you can write only Java programs. Okay. Now here, observe here. Now actually I want to write a Selenium scripts. Now just to understand, everyone observe here. Let me go to Eclipse. What I'm talking about, I want to show it practically what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me open this ab.com. Let us record some script here. Let us record some script in Eclipse IDE, and we'll export it. Here I'm recording some script here in Eclipse IDE. Now let me stop the recording. It did not record that. It's okay. Here. Now I have recorded some script here. Everyone observe here. I am exporting this test case as Java JUnit 4, not this one. File. Export test case as Java JUnit 4 webdriver, and I'm exporting to our B8 folder over here. Okay. Now let me say eBay search, and in this particular folder I'm saving the this eBay search. Now let me, everyone observe here. We have this eBay search. If you all observe here, this is a Java file. I'm just copying this Java file and I'm just trying to paste over here. Okay. You will observe here, this first line is not required. Yep. Now, if you all observe here, this is a script that we have exported from Selenium IDE, and we have exported into Java WebDriver, right? Now, if you all observe here, it is giving some errors. Okay, basically this is the script that we have exported from Selenium IDE. Okay, and we have opened this in Eclipse. When we open in Eclipse, it is giving some set of errors, right? Any idea why these errors are coming up? This for the new students. This question is for the new students. Any idea why these errors are coming up? At least, are you able to follow till this point? I will explain that. At least, any questions over here?
We have to import the libraries.
Yep, that's correct. Yep. Yep. Everyone agree here. We have downloaded the Selenium. Yep. Once you're done with your question, please mute yourself. Thank you. Yep. See here, as I said, whatever the project that we have created here we have created a project, right? It was a pure Java project. It means here we can write only Java programs. But here in this project, I try to write a Selenium with JavaScript. I mean, this is a program which is having a Java as well as a Selenium related logic here. But this project is all about a pure Java project. It means now we have to use some supporting Selenium files in our project. Okay. So see here, it's technically we call importing the jar files. Everyone observe, importing the Selenium jar files. Technically we call it as importing jar files. In other words, we are configuring the supporting Selenium related files, Selenium supporting files to our Java project. Okay, in other words, we are configuring the Selenium supporting files to the pure Java project here. Now, everyone observe here. Now, if you remember, I asked you to download. I mean, in the document, I asked you to download from this website. Download. Here in that document, I asked you to go to this website, and here you can find this one, Selenium client and WebDriver language bindings. Here in this Java, I asked you to download this. Okay, click on this download. If you download this, you will get some zip file. Again, you will get a zip file. Unzip them. Okay. Unzip the downloaded Selenium Java. Again, in terms of this Selenium organization, we call this as client language bindings. Okay. Java bindings. Generally, technically, in terms of Java, we call them as jar files. Okay. In general terminology, we call them as function library. I can say, just to understand, I can say it is a function library. In terms of Java, we call them as Java archive repository. Okay. So first, unzip it. Now, everyone observe here. I think I have downloaded into C. This installation. Selenium. I have the older versions. C class here installation. Everyone observe here. I have Selenium Java, this one 2.40.0. Okay. Actually, I have downloaded this and then I unzipped it. Okay. Once you unzip it, you will get a jar files like this. Okay. If you upgraded executable jar file, if you open this, these are all the Selenium supporting files. Now we have to configure. Now we have to configure all the jar files to our this pure Java project. Now see here, I'm selecting this project. Everyone observe, this is again important. Right click on the project. Everyone observe, right click on this project. And select properties. Select properties. Okay. In Eclipse, right click on the project, select properties. Okay. Then here you will get a window like this. In this, select Java build path. Okay, select Java build path and go to libraries. Select this libraries tab. Okay, and then let me click on add external JAWS. Here we have to click on add external JAWS.
Kumar, can you show that slowly, please? By the time I see that you are going fast.
Okay, fine. Here it's very simple. Right click on this. Right click on this. Let me show it again. Right click on the project. Click on properties. Then here in this section, select the Java build path, left side. Okay. Then select this libraries. Then add external JAWS. Okay, click on this add external JAWS and go to the folder where you have downloaded, where you have unzipped your Selenium WebDriver files. Okay, in my case, this class installation, this 2.4 this version. Okay. So go to the folder where you have unzipped your Selenium WebDriver files. Select those jar files here. As of now, here in this folder, we have to select these two jar files. Okay. Select these two jar files. Click on open, and again add external JAWS. And here open this lips, and here you will find so many jar files here. Just Control A. It means I mean to say select all these jar files and open here. Okay. Now everyone observe here. Now everyone observe the magic over here. In the background, if you all observe here, all the lines is underlined with red color, and you can observe so many errors here, right? Now everyone observe here, in the background of the script, here in this background, in the script, there are so many errors. Now if I click OK here, now everyone observe here. Now let me save this. Now if you all observe here, all the errors has been vanished, right? Now it means now our project, this B8 Selenium is ready for the Selenium. It will accept the Selenium scripts. I mean, here we can start. Here we can start with the Selenium program here. Okay. Now we had a few Java project. We have configured Selenium WebDriver files to our few Java projects, so that here we can write a Selenium scripts. Now if you all observe here, all the errors has been vanished here. Okay. So this is about Selenium installation. This is all about Selenium installation. Now we are ready for starting with the Selenium WebDriver. Okay. Now we are going to start with Java. And here, before starting of the Java, let me clarify some set of things. Here we are going to learn the Java, which is required for Selenium. Okay. If any one of you know Java, that will be great. Okay. And don't interrupt us. We know, as I said, we are going to discuss the Java which is required for the Selenium. Okay. And moreover, here actually I am trying to explain the Java in a very generic and with real examples. I mean to say with real examples, in the sense I am trying to give a real analogy so that you will understand. Okay. Ultimately, I will try to make you understand. So here our ultimate concept is ultimate thing is we are going to understand the concepts. Okay. Yes, we know Java is the ocean, and we don't need to learn everything in Java. If we learn everything in Java, we would become Java developers itself, as I said earlier. Okay. So here we are going to learn the Java which is required for the Selenium. Okay. So why I'm making this point, giving a clarity over here, because there might be some people who already know Java. Okay. See here. Let me give a brief idea on Java. Here in Java, each and everything will be treated as an object. Maybe right away if we talk about this, you will not understand. We will come back to this statement in next session. Okay, I will come back to this statement in the next session. I am talking about in general what is meant by Java. Okay, in Java each and everything will be treated as an object. Okay, so let me start with something called data types. See here we have a student's name, or maybe if you take any AV application, okay, where item name, item code, probably, say for example we are talking about eBay. Okay, say eBay. In this eBay, say we are talking about different types of data. I mean, in a eBay application, what we are going to have? And I'm doing a search, it is giving a kind of data here, right? See here, it is talking about some item and its code and its price. Okay, some location. Basically, it is giving some kind of data here. Okay. So now what I'm saying here, item name, okay, item code, and price, quantity. Okay, what else here? Eligible for say eligible for offer. Okay. See here we in this application we are going to have a different types of data like item name, item code, what is the price, quantity, eligible for offer. Say if it is eligible for offer, say what is the what I can say here. Yep, it's okay. Say item name is like, say let me say some Samsung LED, some LED. Okay, and let me give some item code here. And price, let me say some 500, say 5.9, say some $5 like this. Okay, quantity say 1, eligible offer yes. Okay, like this. Say in this eBay application I'm going to contain a data like this. Okay, say let me say okay. I'm just filling up some dummy data over here. Some code and some $300 and quantity 1 and yes. Okay. Now if you all observe this data, Now, of course, by looking at this, we can understand this is item name, the code, price, quantity, eligible for offer. Okay. Now, if you closely look at this, what it is going to contain, this item name generally it is going to contain only characters. Like this kind of data. Here, if you observe this item name, it is going to contain only characters, right? And if you observe here item code, it contains item this characters as well as characters plus numbers, right? This information, this data is contained characters plus numbers, right? And here, if you observe here it is contained a number with a decimal number. Here it is consisting of decimal numbers. I mean to say here a number with a decimal section. And if you observe here quantity, it's a pure number. It will not have like 1.5. It will not have a 3.5, right? When I say quantity means generally we will say 3, 4, 5 like that. I cannot say 3.5, 4.5 like, right? So it's a pure number I can say. And here you will have either yes or no. Apart from that, you will not have any other information, right? In this eligible for offer, in this information you can mention either yes or no, right? Okay. Now here in general we are talking about. So far we have been talking in general. So if you consider in terms of any programming language, even not in Java, if you consider any programming language, technically this only characters, if you have anything like the only characters, technically it will be represented like char of arrays. We call it as array of characters. Okay. And this generally we call it as a string. We call this information as a string because it contains the characters plus number. Generally we call it as a string. And here this is it contains some a number with a decimal section, right? This technically in terms of a programming language we call it as a float. Okay. And it is containing a quantity, a pure number. Technically in terms of a programming language we call it as an integer. And here you will have either yes or no. It is something like true or false. We call this kind of information is a boolean. Okay. So it might be a programming language, even it might be Java, it will be same. Okay. Even it is C, it will be same. C language, Java, C sharp, almost all types of the languages will have the data types like this. Okay. These are called as data types. Of course, I listed down only few. As I said earlier, generally in our program will use only a list, will use only few of the data types. But however, in Java there are so many data types available. Okay, long int, double int, something like that. Okay, we don't require to know those things. I mean, for those people who are interested to learn Java too, maybe you can learn some extra information. But we don't require that. As of now, here, these are the different data types. We call this highlighted part, we call it as a data types here in Java. Okay, the same data types will be used in C sharp, and it will be used, the same thing will be used in the C language too. Okay, these are called as data types. However, in Java, we have two different data types, two types of data types. One is default are Java provided. It means whatever we are has been learning, this I can say Java provided data types. Okay. The other one is user defined. I will explain this during the maybe probably I will explain after 4 or 5 classes. Right away if I explain this you may not understand this. Okay, maybe let me mark it as a red color. Okay, I am just keeping as of now this. Okay, maybe probably while explaining a Selenium WebDriver logic I will explain this. Okay, as of now we have discussed this. Okay, this is about data types in Java. Now let me move on to the next section. Okay, just now we have discussed data types. Now let me move to the Java variable. First of all, before we move to what is meant by Java, first of all, we have to understand what is meant by variable. Any guesses? Can you post your guesses in the chat box? Don't speak out, it may give a disturbance for others. If you have any idea what is meant by variable, can you all post your guesses in the chat box? That's correct. That's correct, Harika Reddy. Yes. The variable means whose value changes from day to day. Okay. Whose value, sorry, not day to day, changes from time to time. Okay. Whose value changes from time to time means, say for example, time. Say, let me say, I'm talking about time. Say, let me talk about current time. What is the current time? Say, probably it is some 9:06 p.m. Okay. Say, for example, after 10 minutes, what it is going to be? What this current time is going to be? It's going to be 9:16 p.m. right? It means whose value is changing from time to time. Of course, in this case, directly I am talking about time itself. Okay. Say the other example, let me say temperature. Temperature is a variable. Say, let me say, everyone observe, I am using F temperature. Okay. Say temperature is a variable. Okay. And whose value, say currently, maybe during the morning time, say, let me say, some 8 Celsius. Okay. And say during the afternoon, let me say 12.5. Okay. And say evening, say it is again some 6.8. Okay. I'm saying, say temperature is a variable whose value during the morning time is say 8 Celsius, and during the afternoon time, say it is 12.5, and during the evening time, say it is 6.8. It means whose value is changing from time to time. In a day, it is changing time to time. And let me take another example here. Say, for example, we have our batch, Selenium batch. Say every day before starting of the class, say I'm asking some set of questions. Say, for example, Olga is answering all the questions. Okay. So then I want to declare today's session topper as Olga. I'm talking about session topper. Session topper in the sense, every day we are going to have a sessions, right? Say today, for example, yesterday, in the previous session, say Olga was the topper. Okay. And today, say Anil is the topper. Okay. And tomorrow there might be someone else, right? It means from session to session, this value has been changing. This variable value is changing from time to time. Yesterday we have one topper, and today we have one topper. Tomorrow may be someone else, right? So it means this S session topper is a variable whose value changing from day to day, from session to session, right? So that is called as a variable. Okay. Now this variable here, in simple words, variable means this, and here we have something called declaration. Here in the variable, we have something called declaration. Here, what is this declaration means? Based on the type of data that we are going to save in the variable, we have to choose data type. Say for example, I am saying, just for example, say S session topper is a variable. Say I am saying that this is a variable. Okay, what this is going to contain? What this S session topper is going to contain? Can you guess Can you type your guesses in the chat box? S session topper is going to contain what it is going to contain? Yep. Basically, it's going to contain names, right? It is going to contain names. Of course, here we understood that it is a array of characters. Okay, it contains if it contains only characters, we can say array of characters. Right? I'm talking about the type of the data. So here, basically, this contains S session topper contains the names. Like I was saying alga. Okay, and say here. Okay, say these are the names, right? These are the names. So here, in terms of technically, in terms of data type wise, I mean in terms of Java data types, what we have to use here? Of course, we know characters. Okay, we can use this array of characters, but however, I'm treating it as a string. Why? Because names may contain, again in this case, I may use say here say for example from my end, maybe I can use something like this. Here I'm using a dot. Okay, in this case, see here. So S session topper is a variable. I know S session topper is a variable. Now I'm declaring. Everyone observe here, I'm using a word. Everyone please follow this. I'm declaring a variable. I'm declaring this variable as string. See here, I'm declaring this variable as string S session topper. Okay, this is called as declaration. I'm declaring S session topper as a string variable. Now a Java program will understand that. A Java will, I mean if you write something over here, if you close over here, a private, forget about this private as of now, see here, string, something like base URL. Now this, if you observe here, string base URL means, now Java will understand that base URL is a variable. Everyone observe, base URL is a variable of type string. Java will understand this. In the background of Java will understand this. Okay. So S session topper is a variable of type string. Okay. I hope everyone is following this. In a similar way, say if I want to say everyone observe here, if I want to represent this quantity, say here I am talking about a quantity, right? If I want to represent this quantity as a variable, how can I declare? Any guesses? How can I declare over here? Now what is the variable name? Now I have to use something like here, if it is an integer, we are going to represent it as int. Okay, int. Say let me say I quantity. Basically, everyone observe here. I am using S session topper, and if you remember previously F temperature. Now it is one of the best practice. It is not mandatory. It is a best practice that if you are going to create a integer variable, use I. If you are going to create a string variable, use S. It is a best practice. It is a recommended part. It is not mandatory. So here I am saying QTY. Okay. Now see here, this IQTY is a variable which is going to contain the quantity information, and I declare it as an integer. Okay, this is called as declaration. Technically, we call it as a declaration. In a similar way, say we can say assignment. There is something called assignment. It means saving some value. Saving, basically saving in the sense like assigning a value to the variable. Okay, assigning a value to the variable is called as assignment. Okay, it means here I can assign a value during the declaration or after declaration also. It means say here we have this one, right? Okay, here I can say for the first batch. Say for the first batch, maybe probably no one will be the topper, right? Maybe let me say myself as a say. I mean when I'm declaring a variable, myself I'm saying as session topper as Kumar, or say int I QTY equal to 2. Say after first class, say maybe during the second class. during the second class, say Olga has answered the questions. In that case, I can say this value is going to be not, again we don't need to declare this variable. Once you declare variable as a string, again you don't need to declare. So say after first class, after the during the second class, say this value is going to be okay, like this. So it means basically I'm saving a value, or I'm assigning a value into a variable, that is called as assignment. Okay, declaring means I'm declaring, I'm making Java to understand that this is a variable. Okay, I'm intimating that a session topper is a variable of which type? Of string type. A session topper is a string variable. I'm notifying to the Java here, and apart from that, we can also save some value. We can also put some value in that variable by mentioning like this. Okay, this is called as assignment. Okay, so Java declaration, Java variables, declaration and assignment. Now we are going to discuss about Java modifiers. Here again, as I said earlier, here we will have so many things here we can discuss, but here we are mainly discussing the things which are required for Java with respect to Selenium. Okay, Java modifiers means the scope of the variables. And you can see scope of the data. It means, say for example, here basically we have two types. I'm saying basically. Of course, you will have 2 or 3. Here, public, private, static. Everyone observe, we have 3 types of data types here. Of course, static I did not explain in the previous sessions. If you go through the videos, I did not explain static. Okay. However, see here, public, private, static. Say here, generally Java modifiers means the scope of the variable. Technically, if I say scope of the variable, and these are the 3 types of Java modifiers. Okay. So here Java modifier means it is going to talk about the scope of the variable, and these are the 3 different types of Java modifiers. So what is all about this? It means in simple words. First of all, let us try to take an example here. Then you will understand this. Say here you are talking about a session topper, right? You have been talking about session topper. Okay. And this is a Selenium batch, right? Now I want to know, say, for those students who are logged into H2K website, say for those students, say you are a Selenium student. Say for just example, you are a Selenium student, and when you log into your H2K website, say with some credentials, okay. Say for that, in that case, this session topper should show the once you log into HTTP website, in that website it should show the session topper of your batch only. I mean, say in your currently say Olga is the topper. Okay, if anyone of you from your batch join to that open this HTTP website, in that case for you should only see your batch information only. Okay, here in HTTP we may have other batches, right? Advanced QTP, QA. Okay, it means a student from Selenium batch is logged into the HTTP website. Then that student should show the student should able to see only the session topper of their batch only. Okay, in a similar way, when a student from Advanced QTP log into HTTP website, it should, for that student it should show the information of Advanced QTP session topper only. Okay, and say if you train a logins and I want to know who is the session topper of current batch and this advanced batch, that is a different topic, of course. So mainly I am trying to explain here. Say a student logins from Selenium batch, then in that case, say for that student should able to see only the Selenium batch session topper only. Okay, so then in that case I can use something called private. So I mean to say this information, this session topper, this information should only be available only to the set of people only. It should not available for all the students. Say if a student from Advanced QTP logins to the H2K website, for that student we don't want to show this Selenium batch session topper. Okay, in that case we use something called private. Okay, private means if you use private session topper, it is going to be private. That information will be shown to only some set of people. It will not show to everyone. Okay, and say if I want to show it to everyone, then I can say it is a public. Okay, I can say public, say a session topper, so that it will be shown to everyone. For those people, it is irrespective of the student from which batch. It might be a Selenium batch, it might be Advanced QTP, it might be QA. Okay, for that student, this information will be available. Okay, this is called a scope of the variable. Okay, when I say private means it is that information will be available only for set of people, and public means it is for everyone, and static means whose value cannot be changed. Basically, it is not going to talk about like scope. It is basically talking about, say if you mention here say S session topper as alga. Okay, if you mention static. Okay, if you want to change this information, that is not possible. Somewhere if you mention like this, says static. If you mention static S session topper equal to Olga, and somewhere if you want to change this into something else, somewhere in the program, if you are trying to change this information as say Kumar, this is not going to be allowed. Okay, it means static means whose value will be static, that cannot be changed in the further. Okay, this cannot be changed. Okay. So Java modifiers means mainly public, private. So when you mention private, that information will be available only for set of the people, and public, it means it is going to be available for the to everyone. Okay. Now let me move on here. Comments in Java. Here comments means, basically comment means, any idea? If you have any idea, please post in the chat box. Okay. Comment means it is a line which can be ignored by the Java. I mean, you can mention if you comment, it means basically to understand what exactly our logic is going to be. Say here, if you observe here we have this, but I don't know what is this base URL, what is this string. Okay, I want to mention here in the script. So what I can do here, everyone observe here, I can give a comment over here. Everyone observe here, give a minute. Get into not responding mode, give a minute. However, here we have two types of comments. I mean, I can say two ways instead of two types. Let me say two ways. One is a single line comment, and the other is multi-line comment. So here, if you observe here, say here, everyone observe here, I am using two forward slashes and I am saying this is a comment. Now if I mention like this, this line will be ignored by the Java. Basically you read the program. This program when you execute, when you try to run this, basically in the background Java software will understand this program and it will try to execute. So during that time this highlighted line will be ignored. Okay, it means it is a comment. It will be ignored by the Java software. In the background, Java will be ignored. Java is going to be ignored this line. Okay, this is a, let me say this is a single line comment. So if you want to mention a single line comment, you can mention like this. Two forward slashes, you can mention like this. and say in a similar way you can mention multi-line comments too. Okay. For that use /* okay, and here let me say this is a multi-line comment. Okay, so if you want to comment multiple lines, you can mention /* again */. Okay, so here this is how we can comment our logics in two ways. Okay. We will discuss this Java basic syntax in the next session. It is going to be very, very, very important.
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.